I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk to folks from the VTuber community about their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. RenRose joins us. Hi, Ren.
Hello, how are you guys doing today?
They're doing all right. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Ren. I'm a streamer over on Twitch at RenRose866. And though I don't stream frequently, most of what I do is random content with other people. Uh, yeah, if you have questions about the history of the character, he's just from a book that I worked on in my free time.
So, a book that you
That's,
wrote on your free time?
I mean, it took a long while to write it. Writing was a passion for me growing up, so uh, after high school, I started writing.
Well, congratulations on that, because I've had a lot of people have stuff bouncing around their head for decades and still haven't gotten anything written on a piece of paper. Maybe me. Yes, it's me.
I'm gonna be honest. It's not a published book, so you're not gonna find it anywhere. However, it does. The physical copy does exist.
Well, that's more than enough. I mean, really, that takes um, some real work to do. I mean, I imagine that I'll talk this a little bit about it. It's just as much a work of art as anything else, and I'm sure that there were times when you want to go back and tweak things as you went along.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it might be a little tougher when you're writing a book than than an art piece. You can't erase a whole chapter and start over again.
I found that when I got disappointed with the story, I could just pull the anime trope and just restart the world.
Just start over again, and then no problem. Hey, when did you get started on VTubing?
Okay, I gotta think now. When did I go to? When did I go- when did I go to college? I think I started in December of 21.
Oh,
Wait,
so,
I can check my Twitch channel for that, can't I?
yeah. Well,
I can check the age
you've
of
been
my
at
Twitch
this
channel.
for a while then.
I took yeah, I guess I have. I did have breaks,
Hmm.
particularly when I stopped going to college. Yeah, decided to get back on my feet, and streaming took a back seat, unfortunately.
Stupid life getting in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
happens to me all the time. My dreams for world domination keep getting taken over by the fact that I have no way of making it come true. So,
oh God, World
yeah,
Domination sounds like a lot.
yeah, it's a lot of work. Again, my laziness cancels out my evil, which is a good thing for everybody. But really, the getting started that early, I imagine the scene looked a lot different than it does now.
I would know. I was never very big on media up until recently. Uh, yeah, so I started streaming. Who would be can't quantify as my Oshi? Uh, racking my brain. Would have been somebody who streamed with Captain Sparkles, probably.
Oh my.
Uh, is that?
Yeah,
It
you're
might
pull
it might have been Iron Mouse. I may have just rolled across some Iron Mouse
yeah.
clips on TikTok at one point and decided, hey, that's a cool way to not show my face on the internet.
Is that it was but have you always wanted to get on stage but not be the person on stage?
So growing up, I was a musician, so being on stage itself has never been something weird for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got into high school, I started doing acting and stuff. So being
Mm.
on stage is like completely natural.
So
It's just easier to like keep my personal life separate from streaming, you know?
yeah.
I mean, I talk about my personal life all the time anyways now,
Mm-hmm.
but when I started, I was very, very adamant on the I'm not going to talk about who I am outside of streaming while I stream. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I went to college and just kind of gave up on that.
Well, there's still a little bit of distance between you and the audience. That does that provide some comfort that that your VTubing is differently than if your face was out there?
No, because I before I started streaming, I posted videos on YouTube of Civilization 6.
Mm. So
Webcam and everything. I am a man of many talents. If people from Montana are watching, they may recognize my voice from some commercials I've done with the Department of Transport.
oh my gosh. So
I am a very, very well-rounded person.
So you're all over the place.
I
you got your fingers in many pies.
Yes, you one could say if there's something that hasn't done yet, I will do it eventually.
Well, don't do radio because you don't get any money.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Hopefully that changes for you.
Now, yeah, no, I'm not in radio anymore. I went to go get money.
That
Radio.
sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I did.
However, my end goal is not to be in media. My end goal is actually to be an English teacher in Japan.
Oh, wow. Now,
I just
have you been able to learn Japanese, or do you already know Japanese?
so I've been working on speaking it. I in order to speak Japanese, I can understand what people say.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to learning Japanese, if it's not, I don't actually know the words.
Mm-hmm.
When I read it out loud, I have no idea what I'm saying. But if I'm talking to somebody and I like shut off the English half of my brain, I can do it. Bearing in mind that Japanese is technically my fourth language, I grew up in an English speaking family in an area of predominant, predominantly Latino people, so Spanish was really common, so I just picked that up.
Wow.
And in high school, I started learning sign language. So,
Oh,
uh,
again,
I
I kicked myself for not doing that as a kid.
honestly, I should have actually learned another language because I'm not fluent in anything except
Yeah,
for English.
yeah.
I can, I can, I can speak enough Spanish to hold a very basic conversation, and that's about the extent of it.
Unfortunately, my Spanish is limited to what I learned on Sesame Street 50 years ago. So that's pretty much it. But
That's probably as much as I know.
I can count almost to 20, and I can tell you where the door is. That's about it as far as Spanish is concerned. But the have you been able to um, use this in use VTubing in a way to try to get towards your goal of getting to Japan?
Oh, absolutely. So before I came to Twitch, I was a cosplayer on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I was an affiliate with a company called Raise Energy. Don't
Okay.
have affiliate with them anymore, but they were okay with me making the content transition from cosplayer to Twitch streamer, which was fine. I made money that way, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got my affiliate on Twitch, and that money is actually going to, if I don't get my scholarship, a college fund.
Well, good. Um, I'm,
Considering that uh, annually school in Japan cost what one term cost me here in the U.S.
yeah, yeah. That I can. That's something for an entire soapbox
Oh yeah,
that that would take several years off my life to scream about. So, but
yeah. I
at least you'd be able to go over there and learn, and you're able to funnel your money towards something that will head towards your goal.
Oh yes. Even the money I've done with acting is in a college fund.
Excellent.
Basically, every extra penny goes to a college fund.
So you've been able to do some professional acting. You did the commercials. What else have you done?
So some people, if you have viewers in Salt Lake that are watching, I have done a lot of stage work down in Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, acting is a secondary source of income for me,
Mm-hmm.
and then streaming the third. But streaming specifically gets reinvested in the computer before it goes back into the college fund.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You do have to keep.
primarily for tax write-offs.
Yeah,
I
you.
don't like paying taxes.
Yeah. Well, nobody does. But you do have to keep it going. I know that if I tried this on my old laptop, it wasn't going to work at all. But so you do have to keep the equipment up when you're doing something like that. Acting, you just have to keep your skills going. So you started acting very young in school, and you just kept it up.
So I started music when I was 5. I started learning how to play the piano.
Oh.
I didn't start acting until sophomore year of high school, until I was about 15 or so
Mm-hmm.
when I joined the theater club,
Mm-hmm.
which I was one of the founding members of the Thespian Society. I don't know if you know what that is.
Oh yes,
It's basically honor society for actors, just like
I have.
I was a founding officer of Tri-M for our music honors program.
I am the proud owner of one half of a point.
Points.
Yes, we had thespian points in our high school back then. I have one half of a point because I took drama class.
I don't remember if we had those.
Yeah, that was, but it did help. It did actually help me because I'm no actor, but it did help me as far as speaking in front of people, which I had a very crippling fear of doing. Talking on the radio is something completely different. But you're able to take this, this performing on the piano, performing in front of people, and you kind of have extended that into what you do online.
I would just say I'm a really good liar.
I was just saying it without the liar part.
Oh no, like I've gotten recognized by people, and they're like, "How did you get so good at acting?" And I'll look them dead in the eyes. I'm like, "I am just a really good liar."
That's
That's what it is. I'm lying to myself about who I am when I mean, not when I stream anymore, but when I'm on stage,
mhm.
I'm not. I mean, I guess I'm not Ren, but I'm not real life. I'm not Ren. I am the character. But that's a whole mess of method acting. That's not. I don't think we should go down.
Yeah, I mean, I admire you for being able to do that because I couldn't throw myself into it that like that. I can barely be myself on the stage even now after all these years. But when you're online, what do you like to stream?
So I'll admit I am against. I will stream Genshin
Hmm.
as often as I can, but that's because that's how I started streaming. My first ever stream was a Genshin Impact stream, and I was completely clueless as to what I was doing. Like, I had gone straight from watching YouTube content to trying to stream on Twitch. So there's a very big difference than what I was used to.
That's a long jump.
Uh, yes. Then I started doing, because when I'm by myself, I'm not a very sociable person. I had started doing group content. Among Us blowing up was godsend for me, because I could stream with other people.
Right.
That was a very big thing. What have I been streaming recently? I had to take some time off because, as you know, but the listeners probably don't know, I had to get new internet because you shouldn't have CenturyLink. Am I allowed to bash brands that's been through several class action lawsuits on your show?
If I say, opinions expressed by the guests on this show are solely the opinions of the guests and not of the host. There, now you can.
Oh my god, CenturyLink is the worst possible people you could get to do your internet. If Don't do it. I I was paying $70 a month for 30 meg speeds
Hmm.
down, and then like 50 amp, which is already is terrible.
Hmm.
But then half the time my internet would just drop. So like when we because I took over the plans in January
Right.
from somebody who I lived with that left. After that, the internet just went out like twice a day, every day.
No. Yeah, you can't.
And so I was like,
Yeah, these days you can't do anything with an internet like that, no matter where you are or whatever service you have. It's just not going to work, and especially if you're going to do something like be a content creator, that just absolutely kills you dead.
I'll be honest, I made the switch over to Starlink. It was a huge, expensive initial investment. All of my tax refund went to that.
Hmm.
Thankfully, I got a tax refund.
Well,
Uh, my speeds, I get almost a gig down and then half a gig up from the router, from device to router.
wow.
What's the actual holdup is because I didn't buy the one to mount on the satellite dish. I didn't buy the one to mount on your roof. I bought the standard one, which you're supposed to put on the ground, but I don't have a level ground, so we just
Oh,
mounted it to the roof.
mhm.
That still gets like 200 down and 150 up.
Wow. So when you're set up now, you have no
Oh yeah,
excuses. No excuses for you.
it is. If you can justify the initial like $600 on device,
Hmm.
it was definitely worth me paying the extra $50 a month for internet. There's no speed caps. We have 10 devices on the internet.
Hmm.
I can stream without a worry in the world, and the internet's coming to me through two walls.
Wow. Well, that's excellent. That means you're all set up for it. So what are you going to do now on your streams?
Oh, I'm gonna try and stream Baldur's Gate again.
Wow.
I got some more RAM for my computer. That was the issue I had last time. In fact, my plan for after this interview is to go find some Baldur's Gate mods.
and add them into it. Well, you mentioned you've liked collaborating with other people on the net. Have you found it tough to find people to do that, or have you just joined? How have you done that?
Okay, so I'm very lucky that I can just kind of blend into groups.
Hmm.
I joined the ENV tubers, which I think you're on there.
Hmm.
But if you're just starting as a streamer, you want to find some people to collab with, the NVTuber server is a fantastic place to go. They have an entire channel for dedicated to collabs. Uh, what initially got me into a group is I had a background in music, so I wanted to work on music.
Right.
So I talked to some people. They weren't into music, but they brought me into their group. I left that group. I had some internal conflicts.
Right.
But I'm in a different group now, which I was also brought into because I wanted to do music cover. But not doing music covers, but you don't need to. You can just pick up with some other people. You don't need to specifically stream with other VTubers.
Hmm.
If you just want to meet some people who are like, hey, you want to stream with us? Sure, why not? My
Yeah.
best friend from high school, personally, the content they make is would not work with the content I make.
Right.
But they stream. And I was like, yeah, if I'm ever in the need for some like graphic, because it's just bloody stuff.
Right.
I'll go stream with him if they want. In real life, I won't stream as Ren,
Yeah.
which is another. Oh God, I just realized how much my face is out there in media. Um,
Yeah. It catches up to you after a while.
yeah,
It really
but
does. But the fact that you're able to get in there, and I'll mention this myself, that particular server, Discord server, I had very good response from myself in guests coming on the show. So I will definitely promote them. And if you are interested in it, check out that particular server. They've helped me out quite a bit. Um, so what are your plans now that you've got your internet up? You got Baldur's Gate about ready to go. You're gonna get your mods ready to go. What's your big plans?
so well, immediate future, Baldur's Gate Monday night.
Hmm.
Uh, so I might be. I gotta keep studying my Japanese, and I never really studied in school. I'm an extremely lucky person. I just kind of breezed through school.
Hmm.
Like for the first time in my life I've ever studied, and then when I sent in this application for the scholarship, because I'm huge applying for a huge international scholarship for schools in Japan. I gotta explain why there's an F on my transcript.
Oh,
Uh, Not my fault. The F should have went for my record because everybody who had that teacher failed that semester.
oh boy. That
Uh,
happens, unfortunately, but
but
hopefully they'll see everything else
oh yeah,
and and take that into account because it sounds
yeah, I
like
was
it sounds like you really got that focus that of something you want to do, and you're prepared to do it.
oh yeah, I was just a highly average student. As for plans for long term, I do want to finish the cover I was working on with the Sploosh group. I don't know if you're gonna know who those people are.
I don't.
Uh, just some people that I stream with.
Hmm.
Uh, want to work on an original piece. Like I love covers. Yasobi
Hmm.
really. It wasn't Yasobi who got me first. The Dragon Ball Z Kai theme song really brought me into J-pop, specifically Japan, not Korea.
Right.
I've never listened to any K-pop actually before, but
The
I
two shall never meet in many people's minds.
yeah. But I have most of my playlist for what I listen to my day job is, let me see, it's a 56 songs that I listen to when I'm doing freight on freight days. Where is it? Light music, regular music. Of my 53 songs, 47 of them are anime openings and anime covers. And this is stuff I will throw freight to.
Well,
But so I got some covers in the work. Right now, I am like everybody else when Idol came out from Yasobi,
mhm.
working on an Idol cover. I'm also working on an Idol quartet, which is the first song. Uh, if people were at the Vegas Comic Con back in was it November of last year, they actually would have heard me. A little spoiler of my Idol cover, which was really caught people off guard when, like, because I sing the start of the song in Japanese because that's what I know,
Right.
and then switching to English halfway through, and then switching back to Japanese at the end.
Yeah,
But
I've noticed that a lot more with some of these songs that they're switching, whether it's Japanese and English or Spanish and English, and they're switching languages, which certainly continues the flow of the music, and if you can at least if you don't know the language, at least get um, you know a a caption to follow along. It allows you to maybe better describe what you're trying to get across by switching to a different language. Because there's some words that just aren't there in English, and maybe there's some words that aren't there in Japanese that will work the other way around. It really has added to a lot of this music.
yeah, it's huge for Japanese because I think there's 12 different words to tell somebody to die in Japanese,
Where?
but one that comes up very, very commonly. I'm gonna use a very disrespectful Japanese word. When you're basically telling somebody to die in Japanese, but shine, it's normally said more like shine. Is very commonly used when you're yelling at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You're just telling somebody to go kill themselves.
Well,
Bearing in mind, I don't endorse people killing themselves. That's why it never really turns up in music.
yeah,
But
but
always turned up on like your angry Bakugo
yeah,
type characters from My Hero Academia.
but here you've got an entire English phrase in one word.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Mhm. I mean, really,
I still can't figure that out.
yeah. I mean, that gives you an idea though of how good it is to be agile in writing music these days because the audience is so huge. And have you had an instance where you've kind of realized while you're online that your audience could be the entire planet?
Oh yes. Actually, some of my first moderators, one was from Australia and the other was from Germany.
Whoa! So you could have gotten 24 hours if you wanted out of there.
Yeah, if it wasn't for my school, I definitely would have been streaming for 24 hours.
You have one standing upside down from the other one on the planet.
Oh yeah.
Well, I tell you, it's amazing to see to talk to someone who's got such a big plan in mind, and I wish you all the best in getting that scholarship and getting over to Japan and doing what you want to do with it. For folks who want to check out what you're doing now that the internet's back up, how can they check out your content?
You can find me on Twitch Sundays. I actually have my work schedule ahead of next week, so I'm gonna put a schedule out.
Okay.
You can find me over on Twitch at RenRose866. My Twitter handle. Sorry, it's not Twitter anymore. It's X now.
Mm-hmm.
My Twitter handle is not RenRose866. What is my Twitter handle? I think it's RenRoseVTS. Let me check that real quick.
It's like asking someone their own phone number. They don't know. They don't call their phone number.
Oh, I call my own phone all the time.
I lose mine all the time, but I don't call it.
Yeah. I'm at Twitter at RenRoseVTS. I forgot I had VT Social as well. I don't use that. Don't look over there.
We'll take a look at what you got offering, and we'll see how you do, and we'll look forward to seeing how you work it in Japan as well. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, Eric.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.